Hi guys, today I'm going to be chatting about my favorite foundations that I tried in 2020. I definitely didn't try as many as I normally do, but I have 8 foundations here that I really love. A lot of them launched in 2020. Some of them I fell in love with in 2020, so I will have the reviews for all of these foundations linked down below. You'll see them in application, like me putting them on my face, before and after, flash photo test, how it looks in natural light, and how it looks at the end of the day. So if you're curious to kind of figure out, well, two of these foundations that she mentioned sound good, which one should I pick? I definitely recommend going out and checking out the reviews because you'll get a little bit more information on pricing, shade range, and that may lead you in one direction or the other. Everything that I'm wearing on my face, as always, will be listed down below, and if you enjoy these types of videos, be sure to subscribe. If you missed my, wow, so many things to say. If you missed my Worst in Beauty 2020, I will link that down below. I got a couple of rants in there about some products that really grind my gears, but today we're talking about things that I really love, so let's get started. I don't think I'm going to go in any particular order. I'll probably point out ones that really did impress me. This is definitely one of them. Also, if you're curious about my hair, I'm testing out a new hair straightening product, so stay tuned for a video on that. But this is the Quo Beauty Liquid Foundation. Quo Beauty relaunched a ton of products. I don't know if they've reformulated, came out with a bunch of new stuff. If you've seen their display in Shoppers Drug Mart, they've come out with a bunch of stuff. It all looks really, really appealing, but I wasn't sure how it was all going to be. You know, you see new makeup and you're like, is it, isn't it? This foundation blew my mind. I was hesitant about this because, you know, Canadian brands aren't exactly known for diversity in terms of their shade ranges, and even when the shades are deeper, they're not necessarily actually good shade matches. And that being said, this is one of the deeper shades, so still absolutely not okay. I am privileged enough to be able to find a shade for myself, and I gotta say this foundation wore beautifully. It had great coverage. I think a lot of skin types could use it. If you have a drier skin type, you may want to add a little bit of an oil into it. That's what a friend recommended, or like a heavier moisturizing primer. But if you're Canadian, I gotta say I was super impressed with this. I've used it in a couple of videos and I will link it down below. The foundation that I'm wearing right now is beautiful. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation. I think that this looks phenomenal, especially in pictures and videos. In person it looks great too. Ooh, it's good. The NARS Radiant Tinted Moisturizer is probably my favorite lighter coverage product. But if I wanted something higher coverage, which I'm not wearing a ton of high coverage lately, aka the past like year, but when I do want something, this has been one of the ones that I'm reaching for, and it just looks so flawless. It looks so good. It's not matte or cakey, and I think it looks phenomenal. And I really love NARS foundations. I think my least favorite honestly was Sheer Glow, which was like one of the first that came out. I should maybe retry Sheer Glow now that I kind of like more medium coverage natural finish things, but yeah, they really kill it when it comes to foundations in my opinion. My next one definitely isn't a new foundation, at least I don't think so. I don't think that they've reformulated this. I think they added shades to it, and I've never tried it. It's so impressive and so affordable. We love that combination, right? This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation. By the way, try not to look at my nails, even though I'm pointing them out. They're a mess. This is the Flawless Finish Foundation. So good. The shade is great. I have it in the shade Honey, which is tan with neutral undertones, which is a really great match for me because I am apparently neutral, as I've discovered over the past couple of years, or like a golden peachy neutral if I want to get really specific and annoying about it. But this foundation I think costs $6 American. Comes in a decent amount of shades now, like if not 40 maybe. But keep in mind when you do go to purchase this, if you're like repurchasing it or if you've used it in the past, they did change some of the shade names and it was kind of confusing, but on their website they sort of lay it out. I'll link my review of this down below. Like I said, it is like $6. I think it has a little bit less. Yeah, it's not a ton of like as much product in here, so 0.68 fluid ounces, so a little bit above half the size. So when you work out the price, if this was to be a full fluid ounce, it would be closer to maybe $10, but that's still an amazing deal. Great shade range. And again, another foundation that I think would work on the majority of skin types. The NARS one, maybe not so much for drier skin types, but it's not like a dry cakey, but I would definitely recommend if you're a little bit drier, this e.l.f. or the Quo over the NARS. So this next foundation I actually reviewed in 2019. For some reason it didn't make it into my 2019 best foundations. I think I just used it, liked it, but like didn't really revisit it or for whatever reason. But I've fallen in love with it in 2020. I used it when I did like a television shoot in January, when I was doing the live TV stuff in September and December I was reaching for it. Anytime I had anything, this is what I was reaching for, but I have to say, you've seen it now, you know what it's gonna be. I have to say that I don't want it to be like, when I was on TV, this is what I wore, and it's not at all relevant to the majority of people. This is such a good foundation for day to day too, and I can't say that about, you know, I mean, I can say it about a lot of foundations, but like for me, this just transitions so flawlessly to something that I can build up for a beautiful, perfected look, or something that I can throw on with nothing else on my face. So I don't think I said what it was. It's the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection. So the way I kind of think about these roundups and things, it's like not only about did I give it a good review, it's did I continue to wear it? Because I try so many foundations and so many of them are good. They're okay, they're great, but am I reaching for it? Is it something that is actually part of my routine? How do I use it? That's what's most important, you know? There's other foundations when I was going through to see what I reviewed last year, I was like, yeah, I like that, but did I reach for it? Not really. You know, would I notice if it went missing? Probably not. You know, so what made it into the rotation? This absolutely did. I've used it a ton, and you don't need a lot of it. It's very liquidy, very beautiful, high-end, but absolutely a stellar foundation. Now let's take it back to the drugstore because I have an awesome drugstore foundation that I don't know I've ever heard anybody talk about. That being said, I don't consume that much beauty content surrounding foundation reviews because I like to keep that, you know, idea to myself. I don't want anybody else influencing me in terms of that. I'm like, that's my jam. I'm a foundation gal. I'll figure it out on my own kind of thing. I don't need any help. Except sometimes for shade matching. But anyways, this is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Stick Foundation. So good. Another great affordable one. This has 12 grams in here, so a decent amount of product. Not a huge shade range. I think it maybe has 20 shades, but it looks so good on the skin. In my review, I did find, and I'll talk about it in that review if you want to check it out, that it did get a little bit cakey on my face as the day went on, but as I've continued to use it, you just need to use a little bit less. I think I had piled it on too much, but it looks so good on the skin. Again, in video, in person, really impressed. I think this might be my favorite of the Wet n Wild foundations because they have the original, they have the dewy, which I feel like I should revisit that, and the stick, and I think this is my favorite. Really good. Even if you're not a big, like, if you've stayed away from stick foundations, this is a good way to try a stick because it's kind of like a little bit lower stakes where it's not super, like, it's quite affordable and available. Really impressed with that, and I feel like I never hear many people talking about it, so I wanted to definitely give it a shout out so you can try it for yourself. Another brand similar to NARS that always impresses me, especially when it comes to complexion products, is Makeup Forever. So last year, I think it was, or the year before perhaps, one of my favorite foundations, and I still do love it, is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Skin. That is still mwah. And if you love that and have oily skin, probably stick with it. If you're a more combo, normal, you're looking for something a little lighter, a little more natural, although that matte velvet's pretty natural, the Reboot. She's nice. This is the Reboot from Makeup Forever. It brightens, smooths, firms, hydrates, evens out, and it's just a really nice light foundation. Like similar to the Pat McGrath, definitely different, but similar in the idea that like I can kind of throw this on very lightly. It's like watery and light, but sticks around on my face, which is so important to be able to find something that is light coverage, has a little glow and whatever, or medium coverage, but actually stays on my face is very important. I really liked this. I would not say that this is like a recommendation really if you have actually oily skin, definitely the Matte Velvet, but if you're looking for something lighter, this is great. I still need to try the Makeup Forever HD Liquid and HD Stick. I've never tried those, but love the Matte Velvet, love the powder foundation, love the water body, whatever that they had out years ago. They kill it. Then I have a foundation that I really wasn't sure how I would feel about, but I was curious and I enjoy a stick and I ended up really liking it. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Stick Skin Finish. I don't remember exactly how I felt about the liquid in terms of the formula and the way it wore. I just remember it smelling so bad. So perfumed, lasted on your face like you were drowning in it, and I'm not even sensitive to scent, so I was like, this is not it. I ended up getting rid of it, but I was curious to try this stick. She launched some new shades, which I was happy to see. I got 415N as opposed to I think I got 420, maybe like a honey or something that was more golden. So this is definitely a great shade match. I really like the way it wore, easy to use, and I thought it was beautiful. Can I compare it to the Wet n Wild? Because I know I'm going to get that question. Honestly, I can't right now. nothing's coming to my brain. So I would recommend that you check out both of those reviews and see what past Samantha had to say, because she'll be able to give you some more insight, because current Samantha has a mush brain, but doing my best. I think we're all a little bit in the mush brain phase. I gotta say, I really do enjoy it. If you didn't like the original because of the scent, you will be happy to know that this is fragrance-free. Smells like nothing. So yeah, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this. So there you have it. Those are all the foundations that I loved in 2020. Let me know what foundation you loved. Let me know if I influenced you to buy a foundation. Always curious to know how I've enabled you. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!